succeed. Another area which has fascinated over the centuries, indeed, is that of jewellery design and production. Recently, we met Dublin-based Sean Osborne to see how he and his contemporaries go about their work.
The world of jewellery design has a leading light in Sean Osborne. Working from a discreet studio in the middle of Dublin's Temple Bar, Sean creates exclusive one-off jewellery, sought after by celebrity, business and private clients, proving that ambition, sheer hard work and determination can realise a dream.
Well, I was very lucky. I knew that I wanted to make jewellery from a very early age, about 14, 15. Actually, the first thing I wanted to do was be a watchmaker, because that involved working really small things. And then from that led on to me wanting to make jewellery after leaving school, because I didn't get on well in school. And as soon as I got out of school, I emigrated to England, got into an art college over there, and I got straight into the jewellery department and started at the age of 19 making jewellery. Well, the first things I started making were actually objet d'art, which is basically useless objects that you actually just make simply for the sake of making them, and that allows you to kind of use all your skills. So it wouldn't necessarily be a wearable piece, but it'll be a piece with intense amount of work going into it. Initially, what I'd start off really simply, perhaps we'd start off with colour. What kind of metal would you like? Perhaps say silver, gold, platinum, white gold. There's all various different types of materials we could use, or perhaps you'd like to base it on stones. You know, initially keep it really simple at the beginning.
There is no other Sean Osborne. He is unique in Ireland, probably unique in Europe. The only comparable people would have been the great artists like Picasso, writers like Joyce. There is nothing else out there. It has drawn an enormous amount of people to the window. When people see the work, they talk about it and they tell their friends, and their friends come back looking to see some of this extraordinary jewellery.
We recently acquired a bracelet by the goldsmith and gemologist Sean Osborne for our permanent jewellery collection, and we're delighted to have a piece in the collection by this very fine designer and jeweller. The museum was founded in the 1870s. One of the reasons for it was to create a showcase for good design and quality craftsmanship, which could be used to inspire and influence artisans and craftspeople of that period. This collecting policy did fall by the wayside somewhat in the 20th century, but recently we were trying to re-establish a system whereby we would collect contemporary pieces of Irish design, and these would be kept for posterity for future designers and students. Taking my curator's hat off, and from a totally feminine point of view, I think his jewellery is absolutely wonderful and very desirable. And given that he has a fairly high profile clientele, I think it's important for the museum to collect a piece of work by a designer such as Sean.
Along with his numerous admirers, Sean works with a number of collaborators to develop a wide variety of art projects.
Well, Sean reminds me a little bit of Philip Tracy, in that Philip Tracy just went wild with his hats, and I feel that Sean could go wild with his jewellery. I wanted to wear my world on the world on my hand. So we met in his studio. We discussed the second big ring, having all the things about nature that I love. I've got the sun, I've got the sun in gold, the moon in gold, stars, tiny little diamonds and a sapphire. I've got water and mountains, and most important, I've got the Buick Swan. And the Buick Swan I always put at the end of my signature. So Sean understood me.
He has a subtlety about him that when he's putting diamonds into pieces, he tends to, not all the time, but sometimes he hides them. So you have to kind of go on a journey of discovery with Sean's work. He made this ring for me, which he called it a weapon, because I use a lot of angle grinders and power tools and stuff like that. So it's kind of a bit of a joke between us. And but it goes back up onto your hand into a point, and it's a combination of gold and silver, but it ends in a diamond at the top. Well, at the moment I'm working on a solo show for the Solomon Gallery in March, and the biggest piece in the show is a 10-foot female figure. And what I'm doing is I'm going to cut a heart shape from the figure out of bronze, and I'm going to suspend inside the figure a solid bronze heart that has a cross of diamonds that Sean has set into it. The actual figure is going to be, the patination on it is going to be dark brown with kind of little bits of gold highlighting it. And so the contrast of the really highly polished heart and the dark patina is going to look good.
Well, largely it's word of mouth. I'm not a great self-promoter, so I rely on people actually talking and spreading the word. I mean, girls love to talk about jewellery anyway. I mean, I do this stuff for guys, but girls like to talk about jewellery, and obviously they're going to ask where it was made, and hopefully they'll find their way here.
A shining talent. And that ends the programme for this evening. Do join us again at the same time on Friday next. Until then, from Dungarvan and County Waterford, and from all of us and the nationwide team, a very good evening to you. And on next Friday's Nationwide, the changing face of the colleges turning out the best and the brightest of our next generation of professionals. We're at Dundalk Institute of Technology to see how they generate business with local business, how technology can have a lecturer in Dundalk teaching a class in Tralee, tapping into the career opportunities in the world of TV and the movies, and preparing themselves for a life in sport, theatre and music.